Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Hawks lose 4-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen. Next to me, Mario Tirabassi is at the United Center and will join us with all the important updates from Luke Richardson when he meets the media here. A couple big storylines from this one. Patrick Kane does not return for the third period. We're going to start the show with that. Tyler Johnson took warm-ups but then did not play. There is some sort of illness going around the Blackhawks locker room. Luke Richardson was not there for the morning skate today. There's a bug going around, so don't panic. I don't think anything crazy is happening, but we're going to get to it. Before we do, reminder, smash that like button on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Make sure on your podcast app you're subscribed there or following, whatever your app asks you to do. And let's get into it, Greg. Before we get into the X's and O's and what went wrong in this game, Patrick Kane does not return for the third period, and immediately I, pretty much everyone in the Blackhawks universe is getting texts and tweets that, has Patrick Kane been traded? No.
He did not walk off the ice and say, I'm waiving my trade deadline, my trade clause, get me out of here.
Yes.
No.
So I think this gives us a nice opportunity to just establish this from jump. Could trades start happening for the Blackhawks? Yes. That could happen. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews are two different things. Players of that stature, there's going to be meetings with their agent and Kyle Davidson. It will be well known if and when both players waive their no-movement clauses. As far as we know, that has not been done yet. As far as we know, the meeting with Pat Brisson, both of their agents, has not happened yet. Whenever that story comes out, it will be massive NHL news.
You're all over the place.
Yes, and there will be a long process of negotiations, of trying to figure things out. I was listening to, what do they call it on TSN? Trade Central, whatever it is. They were saying that there's more to it than just a trade. Toews and Kane would want to investigate whether a destination would want to do a sign-in trade and sign them before they even hit the market this summer. They want to see what the playoff structure looks like. They want to see what their role on the team would be. This is not something that's going to happen for either of those players in the middle of a game.
Right.
It's going to be something that takes some time, that's going to, go through the league and all those sort of things. So in regards to Kane and Toews, if you see them leave a game, it's not because of a trade. Now, if we have heard for weeks and weeks and weeks that the no-moving clauses have been waived and there are conversations going on, and maybe Kyle Davidson closes a deal mid-game, that could happen. But I'm telling you, with Kane and Toews, there's going to be a long-term process to making these deals happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen mid-game. Here are the two scenarios for Patrick Kane. He either's got whatever bug is going around the Hawks locker room, or his knee's bothering him. He kind of tweaked that knee. There was a play in the Sharks game Sunday where he got hit in the boards by the other Svechnikov and kind of favored his knee. Now, we talked to him after the game, and he wasn't noticeably limping or anything like that. He said he was going to get checked out. He was playing tonight, so maybe something like that happened. There wasn't any play on the ice where he was hit or anything like that. I mean, he spent almost the last part of the second period. He was in the penalty box for that high sticking penalty he had late in the period. So, I think it's nothing serious by any means. Definitely wasn't traded. As you mentioned, Jay, when these trade clauses are waived, Elliot Friedman's going to tell you about it. Bob McKenzie's going to tell you about it.
The GOAT.
Darren Drager's going to tell you about it. Frank Saravalli will probably be the first with it because he seems to have a very good thumb on the Blackhawks pulse. He's got a good source. So Yeah, it's we're hopefully going to get a quote here from Luke Richardson soon about both Patrick Kane and Tyler Johnson here. The Tyler Johnson thing was weird too because we have our poll question. Speaking of trades, which former Blackhawk do you miss most? Brandon Hagel, Dylan Strome, Dominic Kubalik, or Kirby Dach. Someone was asking, why don't you have DeBrincat up there? Because then it's
too obvious
that he'd be a runaway winner. So we want to make it a little more difficult and entertaining for us. Because if we put DeBrincat, he'd win. So that's why. And because we don't have to include anybody we don't want to. But the Tyler Johnson thing was weird because he was at morning skate. He was on the ice in pregame warmups.
Yeah, and looked fine.
And then all of a sudden he's out. And this was his first game against his former team, the Lightning, because he missed both games last year because he was injured. So he really must not have been feeling good if he was like, you know what, I don't want to play against the Lightning. I'm not feeling good. So hopefully we get something, a good update on both of those guys here soon.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. And
those are going to be the first questions asked
as
soon as Luke gets with the media. So,
got a question from Gunzo saying, why weren't there meetings before the deadline last year telling Kane and Taves that things are going to be bad next year? I listen, I think that talking to Kane and Taves about how the season's going to go is a courtesy. Players play, GMs manage, and they're not obligated to tell anybody anything. Because of what they've done, because of what they've earned, they got that kind of benefit of the doubt this summer and will be able to dictate their futures as much as they want. But I don't think that the GM should be consulting players on whether or not he should trade Brandon Hagel.
And I do remember specifically when we met with Kyle Davidson right after the season, and somebody had asked him, have you talked to Kane and Taves? He says, I will, but I don't have to sell them on a rebuild. It's not his job to make sure it's okay to rebuild the team. Gunzo had a question earlier. Wouldn't it have made more sense to trade Kane and Taves at the draft last year? Guys, they have no trade clauses. He can't trade them until they say they want to be traded.
Right.
I'm sure Kyle Davidson would have loved to have done that in the offseason and had this whole distraction. Because if you think it's a distraction now, let's just wait as we get closer and closer. I'm sure he would have loved to do that. But he can't until they say, I want to be traded.
That's it. It's very, very simple. All right. Can we move on from that for now, even though we're probably going to have to do that every show?
Yeah.
So this game, I think that anyone who watched it start to finish will probably come away with it with the same feeling that the Hawks played really well in this game. All things considered, Caleb Jones is your third line left wing. Patrick Kane doesn't play the third period. It's a really tough scenario against a team that is a Stanley Cup. I wouldn't even say beyond a contender. They're a favorite. They've been to the Cup final 3 years in a row. They've won 2. They're a really, really solid, really great team, mostly healthy. And the Hawks held their own for 40 minutes, and things started slipping away in the third. But if they can play this way every game where they knew how overmatched they were and they're forced to keep it simple, they can hang in. They can stay in some games they have no business staying in. And if you think about earlier in the year when they got off to that unexpectedly good start, that's exactly what they were doing.
Right.
They were outworking. They were keeping it simple, getting pucks deep. As the struggles have gone on, they've started to squeeze the sticks harder, trying to make every perfect play, and it's sort of snowballed on them. But if they play like they played tonight, they're in good shape.
Tonight's game reminded me a lot of the 2013, 2015 Blackhawks, where the Lightning were kind of like, oh, it's just the Blackhawks. We're just going to go out there and skate and get 2 points.
Yeah.
And then after that first period, the Blackhawks were great in the first period. Lots of scoring chances. Seth Jones ended the long national nightmare that was 123 straight games without a power play goal by a Blackhawks defenseman. They literally went the entire calendar year of 2022 without a power play goal from the defenseman. We'll talk about that more later because Seth Jones, a little wrinkle to that power play tonight. But then it was like the Lightning were like, wow, we got outshot, doubled in shots. We're tied. Like, okay, let's go in the locker room and flip that switch. And this game could have been like 8-1. They hit 3 posts in the second period. Second period, the whole period was at the Blackhawks. They were just like, enough of this BS. We're the Lightning, you're the Blackhawks. So it reminded me of like the 2013, 2015 Hawks, where they're like, we'll take a period off, we'll spot you a couple goals, and then we'll whoop your ass up and down the ice for 40 minutes or 20 minutes. That's what it was. I think the Lightning were just like, they're on the first of a back-to-back. They're in Minnesota tomorrow. They're probably like, hey, we could take it easy tonight. This is the worst team in the league. And then they were like, all right, well, let's put some effort into this. And then before you know it, it's 4-1.
We have a comment from Nominal User saying tanking and being a 1 win per month dumpster fire are two different things. This is unwatchable. Well, the Blackhawks are tanking, and at last check, they're only 4 points in the lead of the tank standing. So if you want to tank, this is what it's going to take. And Gunzo on the no movement clause says, I know what a no movement clause is, people. The GM's job is to make it happen. He's not going to go to Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane and yell at them and say, take a trade now.
Yeah,
you have to trade. No,
because if you
and by the way, sorry, Greg, if he did that, folks like Gunzo, who seem like they just want to be mad about things, would be pissed that they dare disrespect Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
How do you treat Kane and Toews like that?
Look, if all you want to do is be mad and have no reason for it and no logic will change your mind, by all means, be mad. But this is the wrong place to be if you don't want to have a nuanced conversation about the reality of how a hockey team and a hockey rebuild and no movement clauses work. We're not going to flip over tables. We're not going to say fire Davidson. It's ridiculous. This is going just as a rebuild should. Yes, it's painful night to night, but if you're going to come in here and be pissed just to be pissed, you're wasting your time. I don't know what people want to hear.
You can't trade guys until they waive their clause, and you can't force guys to. You know what's forcing them to waive their clause? This roster.
Yes.
Okay, boys, you didn't want to come to me last summer and say you want to get traded. I'm going to put together the worst team in the league and force your hand. This roster is going to make them waive their no trade clauses, and you're going to get more for these guys on a trade deadline deal than you would have at the draft.
Right.
Because teams are going to be more desperate. Teams are going to be willing to give this. So, like, I don't know. Like, first of all, Kyle Davidson isn't the guy that gave him these ridiculous no movement clauses.
Well, look, those two earned it.
Yes. They have earned the right to decide where and when they want to go, if at all. And if neither one of them says, I want to get traded, will I be disappointed? Sure. But will I be mad? No, because I totally get it. And they've earned that right.
Yes.
Guy like Seth Jones, he didn't earn that right, but he got it anyway because that's what he should not be named did. So, yeah, let's just let it play out. Let's stop going through these theoretical situations that could not happen in the real world. It's a waste of time and energy. We've got to spend a lot of time and energy watching the worst team in the league every night, so we don't need to argue about theoretical things that may have happened last year or not. It doesn't matter.
Well, hey, if you want to worry about something, Jonathan Toews is he's been flat out bad for the last little bit. Yeah. This game, he was an absolute non-factor, -2 in 17:49 of ice time, including 4 minutes and 50 seconds on the power play. He mustered 2 shot attempts, 0 shots on goal, 2 giveaways. He won 56% of his faceoffs, which is great. But Jonathan Toews is a non-factor out there.
Has been for
weeks.
A while.
He looks slow. He's losing battles.
We were singing his praises for the first 25 games about, wow, great rebound year. His trade value is shooting through the roof. I still think he has really good trade value.
I don't think you're getting a first for Toews.
No, I didn't think so even when he was playing great. But, yeah, he's been – I don't know what's going on there. If it's just father time. He always wins. He's still undefeated. Yep. Sometimes it just takes a little longer, unless you're Jaromir Jagr. But, it's – yeah, he's been like, there's been nights where I'm like, oh yeah, Jonathan Toews played tonight. I totally forgot he was on the ice half the time. It's concerning. It's very concerning considering how well he played the first 2 months of the season. October, we were like, man, this guy's having a rebound year. November was good.
Yeah.
December, I mean, the last 7 or 8, 10 games, just you're not even getting the shots. You know, you got to get something there, and he's not even getting shot attempts.
Yeah, that's
And
tough.
he's turning the puck over. He's doing flybys on defense. A lot of plays where guys are getting below him, getting scoring chances and goals as he's kind of just standing there watching things that he was never guilty of in his career. So I don't know. Maybe he's dealing with a nagging injury. I just, knowing Toews the way I do, I don't think he's checking out. He's disinterested. Sure, he's got to be the most frustrated guy in that locker room.
Definitely.
He's one of the most competitive athletes I've ever seen.
No, he used to be.
So
I'm sorry. I don't. When I watch Jonathan Toews, I don't see a guy who's competing. I see a guy who's out there floating.
it's a fair criticism.
I know, greatest captain in team history and all those things, and we talked last year about, like, is he ruining his legacy with the way he's acting and in his performance? And like you said, to start the year, seemed like, okay, we can kind of put that conversation to the side for now, but Jesus, the guy's not even competing out there. And it's something that will never be really, like, called into question, because he's earned the right to kind of get a pass on some things. But anyone who's watching this team on a regular basis sees Jonathan Toews out there. Look, maybe you're right. Maybe it is a father time thing, and maybe he just doesn't have it anymore.
But he had it 6 weeks ago.
It's true. That's true. I'm just like, I spent some time in this game because after the first 20, I'm like, oh, that wasn't bad for the Hawks, but I didn't notice Jonathan Toews out there at all. So I kind of isolated on him for the remainder of the game, and it's just, where you would see him in the days of yore, digging into boards and trying to win a puck. He kind of glides by, and maybe he'll swat at it, and he looks real slow, and I don't know, he just doesn't look too engaged. And we've discussed over and over again, the human element of hockey and the effect that losing game after game after game has. So it's natural to have a letdown, but of all the people that I would guess, competing until the day they retire, it would be Jonathan Toews, and it's just not there. The compete is not there for Toews right now.
We got a little bit from the United Center. No official update on Patrick Kane, but it appears it is that knee is bugging him. Luke Richardson said he was getting checked out by the training staff. There are no more tomorrow, but it's a lower body injury related to the hit he took in the San Jose game. Our buddy Charlie over at NBC Sports, I'm sure you follow him on Twitter, he posted a video of the play. He got hit along the boards by the second best Svechnikov, and looked like he got his, I don't know if it was knee-to-knee contact, but maybe his knee got jammed in the boards. It looked like it was his left knee. So obviously it was bugging him tonight. So there you go. That's the update on Patrick Kane. Lower body injury update tomorrow at practice. So
we'll see. I'll be at practice tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some a new update, but hopefully that's anything long term. I think the fact that he was able to play half the game today, more than half the game today, and finish the game against San Jose is probably optimistic, but it's still not great news. Obviously, when your best player is hurt. A couple people in the chat mentioning Alex Stalock, who had another fantastic game in this one, and our friend Region Rev mentioning that he got run by Alex Killorn in the third period, and no Hawks responded. Patrick Sharp on the broadcast said that he didn't think that anyone saw that happen.
I'm sure they saw the replay, though.
Agreed.
Reese Johnson should have been standing right at the penalty box door waiting for him to come out and punch him in the mouth a couple times. That's twice that's happened. Eventually, when they got Casey Cizikas, who's the one that knocked him out for 6 weeks, he had to pay the piper for that. But you can't let your goalie, especially a goalie. Now, Stalock put himself in that situation. He was called for interference on the penalty. You basically put a pick on Killorn, but then Killorn cross-checked him to the back, up high. Guy coming off a concussion. Can't let anybody do that to your goalie. Okay, you didn't see it happening because the play was going the other way, fine. But they showed it on the board. The coaches saw it. There should have been some sort of receipt cashed in there. It's just, and I'm not a meathead that needs to have a fight for everything. I hate fights after clean hits. But when somebody's taking liberties with your goalie, a goalie that just returned from a concussion, you need to draw a line in the sand.
Well, look, it's the mindset of the opponent has to know that if you do that against Chicago, you're going to have to answer for it. And this is like the whole argument about enforcers and not enforcers. And, there's no way to quantify the impact of an enforcer. But I'll tell you that if I was an opponent of the Detroit Red Wings back in the day and Bob Probert was playing versus Bob Probert being scratched, I'd be a little bit more willing to take a run at Steve Yzerman if Bob Probert was scratched. Because I know that a under-the-influence greatest enforcer of all time is going to come and rip my face off, right? And I'm not saying that's what needs to happen, but it's just teams see how other teams respond. And if they see no response to Casey Cizikas the first time, well, Alex Killorn isn't so shy about running into Alex Stalock, is he?
Right. Yeah, it was disappointing. My only other thing about tonight, before we get Mario, I'm sure he's going to be checking in soon.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused on why we talked about Caleb Jones having to play forward with the whole weird Tyler Johnson. I'm a little confused why you don't have somebody here from Rockford tonight. You already knew that Jujhar Khaira and Entwistle weren't going to be available. They're banged up. They're being visited by general soreness. And then you get this bug running around. How do you not call Rockford at 10 o'clock this morning and say, send somebody down here? Would it have killed? It wouldn't have killed the Ice Hogs, who won in overtime tonight, beating the first place Texas Stars. Lucas Reichel, perhaps you've heard of him, overtime winning goal. Would it have killed the Ice Hogs? It would not have killed the Ice Hogs tonight if you say, hey, Dylan Sekura, get in your car. You're going to play on the fourth line tonight. You could have done a lot worse than putting him out there for 8 or 9 minutes than having to play Caleb Jones on not that Caleb Jones was terrible.
No, he was actually
as a forward. He was
decent, actually.
Yeah, but how do you not have somebody here? To me, that's a failure on Kyle Davidson, Luke Richardson not preparing ahead of time. You already know you're in a crunch. You've got guys sick. You've got guys banged up. Rockford is an hour and 15 minutes away. Get somebody here for tonight. And if he doesn't play, then he gets himself a free meal. But Dylan Sekura would have been fine out there. That's a guy that's got plenty of NHL experience. You wouldn't have lost much. Dylan Sekura, to me, is an upgrade over guys like Boris Kachuk and Colin Blackwell right now. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Blackwell had a decent game today. But overall, you look at the big picture, yes, Kachuk, yeah. I mean, but like you said, this should have been done when Entwistle and Khaira are unavailable.
Yeah, they should have had somebody here this morning for morning skate to just be here.
Yeah.
Maybe, obviously, if Kane and Johnson, you got to have somebody here tomorrow.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You got to make a call up.
Yeah.
Have a guy get here for practice tomorrow and Thursday. Give a guy 2 days of practice before. And if he doesn't play Friday because everybody's back, so be it.
Now those are the sort of things when we evaluate Kyle Davidson that we could talk about. Like, that could be the sign of a young GM not thinking ahead enough. Yeah. And this is where Norm McIver needs to step in and say, hey, if we got some guys banged up, not a bad idea. Let's call somebody up. Because, look, there's ways to do it, too, where you don't have to make the official transaction until you're absolutely sure you need it.
Yeah, but again, hour and 15 minutes away. If you don't want to make the transaction, but you have Dylan Sekura sitting here, and then, okay, we don't need you, he can make it back in time for the Ice Hogs
right.
game.
Or you
never make that transaction.
Or you just say Dylan Sekura's missing the game. He's got a sore ankle.
Yeah, he's had He's got the poops like everybody else.
There's ways to get through these things.
I haven't had a lot of things to criticize Kyle Davidson this season. I'm on board with his plan. I see what his vision is. But this kind of like refusal to get guys up from Rockford these past few games, it's that's what they're there for. I understand you want the Ice Hogs to win as many games as possible. You want the Ice Hogs to make a Calder Cup run, but you're not the general manager of the Rockford Ice Hogs. You're the general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes.
The NHL team is still your top priority.
And this is something to watch with him, because while he's the opposite of he who shall not be named with his patience, you don't want to be too patient.
Right.
And you don't want to be patient for the sake of patience at the cost of doing the right thing for your franchise.
Well, Mark W. says in the chat, Luke Richardson, I specifically asked him Sunday before the game, with you guys being home for 7 straight days, 7 straight games, does this give you a chance to call up guys from Rockford just to get a different look? Maybe reward some of those guys. And he said, we're not going to make a call up just to make a call up. Lucas Reichel isn't going to come up here to play fourth line. That doesn't do good for anybody. Well, if Patrick Kane can't play Friday night, or you want to give him a day or two off, there's Lucas Reichel.
Yep.
That's when you call him up here and let him get a couple games. But we'll see. I just want to see somebody come from Rockford. If you're down 4 forwards, get somebody here. Doesn't matter who. Just get some bodies here. That's what your AHL affiliate is for.
Thank you. That's correct. All right. Mario is standing by from the United Center. But first, we want to tell you about our friends at Green Ridge Farm. Greg, I got 2 words for you.
Meat sticks?
Caminito ham.
Sure.
Caminito ham is the latest Green Ridge Farm product I tried. I got it from the Marianos. It is like deli meat, but it's ham off the bone. So it's like an Easter ham on your sandwich. Friends, you got to go try the Caminito ham from Green Ridge Farm. It's absolutely wonderful. I told you they've become my go-to deli meat company, and they're great because they're all natural, they're local. It's the best you can do, and they also want you to know about their wonderful meat sticks, which are perfect for tailgating, happy hour, and school lunches. They're all natural, hardwood smoked for 8 hours with 16 grams of protein per stick. They come in chicken, black forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno cheddar and spicy chili. If you haven't tried them yet, do it. Try them. They're very easy to find. Costco, Sam's Club. I see them at the Pete's. I see them at the Jewels in your local Chicagoland grocery store. Right now, when you order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com, and I recommend the Caminito ham, include a pack of meat sticks in your cart. Those meat sticks will be free simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. Again, order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com. Include a pack of meat sticks in your cart. They will be free simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. Greenridge Farm, simply natural meat.
That description of the ham made me hard for Bedard.
Like you needed help.
Yeah. While you're sitting there eating your tasty, what was it? Caminito ham?
Caminito ham.
Caminito ham.
Yep.
Sounds like a Italian sports car. While you're driving your Italian sports car made of ham, you should wear some Shady Rays sunglasses. Why not? Because they're awesome. They never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they went out and they changed it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this winter because friends at Shady Rays have you and your precious eyeballs covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. Best part about Shady Rays, it's that insane protection program I've been telling you all about. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us that they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Did you drop them in a lake? Did you lose them in an unfortunate ham sandwich accident? Well, they'll replace them, no questions asked. Is there really such a thing as an unfortunate ham sandwich accident?
Nope.
Unless you're Mama Cass.
Oh.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality. And I could tell you from wearing these glasses for the last couple of years, They are just as good as any expensive pair on the market. The Shady Rays will also provide 10 meals to fight hunger. They're giving out ham sandwiches for every... I'm so making a ham sandwich when I get home. They are donating 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed and have donated over 20 million meals to date. They stand behind their product, and they told our team that if anyone has a problem, they will throw profit out the giant test window at the Shady Rays factory. They will do whatever it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love the Shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. And an exclusive deal for our lovely CHGO listeners. That's you guys. Shady Rays will give you 50% off 2 or more pair of sunglasses when you use the promo code CHGO at checkout. That's buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs of awesome sunglasses for as low as $54. The more you buy, the more you save. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
All right, let's go out to the United Center and bring in our buddy Mario Tirabassi. Mario, you were there with Luke. Let us know what we learned.
Is actually playing at the United Center next week, so that'll be a fun show to go see.
Yeah, we missed the first part of that comment, Mario. Can you say it again? I'm sorry.
It's just a ham sandwich accident joke, guys.
Okay.
It's nothing important, just
Damn
like
it.
the results of these games.
Well, these results are important, baby, because we're hard for Bedard. That's the new slogan.
That's true. That's why I'm standing far back from the computer. Luke Richardson did not have an update on Patrick Kane and why he was held out of the third period specifically, basically alluding to the fact that, he kind of took a shot in the third period, I believe it was, of Sunday night's game, kind of hampered him a little bit with a knee injury, kind of a nagging little knee injury. Said he went through the morning skate, felt fine this morning, was good to go through the game, but just kind of felt it a little bit more in the second intermission and made the decision to hold him out of the third period. Tough decision to hold out Patrick Kane in a 1-1 game, but there's no need to risk any major injury or aggravating anything else. So we'll probably find out a little bit more about the severity of what he's dealing with, if it is severe at all. No practice tomorrow for the Blackhawks, just to give the bodies some rest, give the immune system some time to work out some things. Tyler Johnson and Luke Richardson dealing with sickness today. Richardson was able to kind of tough it out and coach the game tonight, but he was coughing and hacking during the post-game press conference, so everyone was kind of sitting a little further back from him. Tyler Johnson, he said, was more of a stomach issue. Said he wanted to give it a try. That's why he played he went through the warm-up, but wasn't able to go tonight. So as far as injuries go, that's where Luke Richardson kind of left us with the updates. And against a Tampa Bay Lightning team that are the Tampa Bay Lightning, when you are playing with 11 healthy forwards and then a third period with only 10 healthy forwards, and Caleb Jones is your extra forward, you're playing shorthanded, especially. So, it's just a night where the Blackhawks played well in the first and second period. They ran out of steam, and the Lightning are built to have more steam than the Blackhawks. So that was the case as the third period wore on.
Any word on if Tyler Johnson had to order new breezers?
Didn't get that update, but as far as Luke Richardson saying that it was a stomach issue and not the same kind of flu-like symptoms that he was dealing with, you can connect some dots that maybe some new equipment was needed after warm-ups.
But yeah,
he got some of that cheap imitation ham. He didn't get the Greenwich Farm.
Yeah, he didn't get the Caminito ham.
You go for going cheap, Tyler.
You can't go with the crackers.
Get the good stuff.
Probably a good move to cancel practice tomorrow, considering everyone is dying. I
don't want to get sick.
Yeah, I was like, I said to Greg during the game, you couldn't hear me because you were 5 feet away. I said, maybe shouldn't go to practice tomorrow because I don't want to get sick. It's going around. It's good it's not COVID,
Yeah.
but there's definitely something going around. And, get these guys away from each other for a little bit. They probably could use it anyway because, tensions run high during these things. And, by the way, we haven't mentioned this yet, but it's worth checking out on the Blackhawks YouTube. There's a 2-part so far series called Every Shift, which is kind of a behind-the-scenes look at the season. The first one starts off with the home opener, which was an overtime win over the Red Wings, and things are a little more positive. And then the most recent one came out maybe, I think, last week at some point, and they're really focused on the losing streak. It's kind of a, if nothing else, it's a good look at the mind of Luke Richardson and how he coaches. Yeah. It's good stuff, so check that out. But that's a smart move to not have practice tomorrow. That's for sure. Was there any sort of, I know it's a weird game with the injuries and the sickness and all those things, but all things considered, this is one of the better games the Hawks have played in a while. Was there any sort of, positivity or silver lining in any of the comments after the game?
Yeah, we talked to Seth Jones after the game, and he obviously scoring the power play goal was a big deal and a weight off of his shoulders. 123 game streak ended for the Chicago Blackhawks without a power play goal from a defenseman. And Phil Thompson dug it up, 111 game streak for Seth Jones between power play goals dating back to when he was with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So how about that? So he was, obviously it's a loss, but he was a little bit in decent spirits to have scored that power play goal. Luke Richardson too, feeling good about getting that streak over and scoring that goal. He did, he praised his team. He said that they, given all the circumstances that they had to deal with in this game, they played a good game. It just kind of came down to, the Lightning just being able to run faster for longer, and the Blackhawks just kind of running out of gas. Both Jones and Luke Richardson having some good things to say about the game from Alex Killorn. Jones was just saying, it's an experience. He's an aggressive goalie. He's aggressive out there. But he said that, the team plays with some confidence with him in net, and they know that, he's aggressive and he likes to play the puck, which makes the games easier for the defenseman and makes the transition game a little bit different and a little bit more effective with Stalock out there being willing to play the puck as much as he is. So there were some positives to take away from this game despite the 4-1 loss. And look, like 45, 50 minutes of this game was a really good effort from this Blackhawks team. And they were holding their own with a very talented, very difficult Lightning team, but just, down the stretch of the third period, it was a snowball effect again. Even though it was, a short-lived, small snowball, it was a snowball nonetheless.
Was there any talk about the power play strategy? I know Luke loves talking X's and O's. Was he asked about that? Because it seemed that Seth Jones was allowed to kind of be a free roamer during the power play. I mean, he scored the goal by going to the net, and there were other the second and third power play in that first period. It seemed that he was like shooting from the left dot, and he wasn't just hanging out at the point looking the quarterback and distribute. He was moving all around the zone, looking for places to shoot and shooting from wherever he got the puck. Was that discussed at all after post game?
Yeah, Seth called the goal unconventional, but he just mentioned how the power play has been getting pretty good looks, has been running decently this season, and that just wanted to kind of mix things up a little bit and try and open things up a little bit more, get some different looks in there and see if that could change their fortune. And I don't know how often Seth Jones is going to be playing at the net front, but I think it was effective tonight, and I don't know if that's going to continue to be the case, but at least tonight. It seemed like Seth Jones made a little bit more of a conscious effort to not just sit up at the blue line and try and be shooting from the blue line or anything like that, trying to get pucks through traffic. He was trying to be a little bit more active, and Luke Richardson called it again as well. an unconventional goal. So maybe it might not have been exactly how they drew it up in the video room, but whatever works, I guess. Again, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a regular occurrence to see Seth Jones playing around the net on the power play, but every once in a while you might surprise a team.
I gotta say, I feel like over the last, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks, Jones has been a lot more aggressive with the shot on the power play. It's sort of an epidemic we've seen from this team all year where guys have open looks and they choose to pass. We saw it a few times in this game as well, but not nearly as bad as it was early in the year with Max Domi and Seth Jones. Maybe Richardson is finally pounding the message to him like, dude, you've got a good shot. Get it on net. Get it through traffic. Don't be afraid to use that shot. I feel like I don't know, I could probably go in and crunch the numbers. Maybe I'll do it for my Blackhawks beat next week. But it definitely feels like Seth Jones has been willing to fire the puck more lately, and hopefully that's the coach's message getting through to him.
Well, we talked with because Luke Richardson wasn't at morning skate. We talked with Derek King today after morning skate, and he talked about the team's lack of offensive production, primarily from the forwards group, since that's the group that he oversees the most. But being last in the league in goals per game, being second to last in the league in shots per game, the message is as simple as we think it is. The message to the players is to shoot more. He's telling Max Domi, you have an incredible shot. Use it more. I'm sure the message is the same to Seth Jones. You are an offensive threat. Use it more. And I think the Blackhawks, they're a team that doesn't get a lot of puck possession. So when they do, they have to make the most of it. And what we've seen in games that they've been effective, it's the games that they're putting up high volume shots. Doesn't happen often. Granted, they have 8 wins, but when it does happen, I think the Blackhawks play a more effective game, and it just seems like the coaching staff, every time they talk about getting being outshot or trying to create offensive chances, it just comes down to continuously saying like they have to play simple, they have to get the pucks to the net and make things happen. They're not going to be able to make perfect tic-tac-toe passes every night. So I think the coaching staff is hammering that point home, and honestly, I think the team is getting the message. This was a game where the Blackhawks came out of the gate, scored the game's first goal. So sorry to everyone who took our bet to, allow the Lightning to score the first goal, but
Stay the course.
But they let in shots in the first period, 12-6. They had the lead in shots into the at times late in the second and into the third period, and I think against a Lightning team, if you're leading in shots on goal, you're doing something right. So again, it comes in a loss, but I think what we're seeing is maybe a little bit more of the players coming around to the idea that, hey, maybe shooting the puck more will give us some more offensive chances.
All right, before we get to the 4 stars of the game, Mario, we've got a poll going on our YouTube. I want you to vote on it right now. Which of these former Blackhawks do you miss the most? Brandon Hagel, Dylan Strome, Dominic Kubalik, or Kirby Dach?
That's actually a really good one.
Thank you.
Left out Alex Killorn.
Yes, we did, because I'll tell you this: we left him out because we knew it would be a runaway. It's still a runaway right now.
Maybe we should have put the guy who's winning and Alex DeBrincat and see what happens.
Is it Brandon Hagel?
Brandon Hagel, 76% of the vote.
Yeah.
Kirby Dach with 14, Strome with 6, Kubalik with 4.
It's not the order I put him in, but yeah, Brandon Hagel would get my vote for sure. When I was looking at some of the pregame notes and stats and everything, I was just like, man, not surprising that he's turned into a very good player for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's on a 68-point pace for this season, which would obviously be a career high, making $1.5 million for the Lightning. That's a pretty good deal that they got. A deal that honestly, when you want to bag on Kyle Davidson all you want, look, those 2 first-round picks that the Blackhawks got for Brandon Hagel still have yet to be made. Taylor Radish, he's all right. Boris Tkachuk, we've made our our feelings known about him. But look, I think that's a deal that works out for both sides. Tampa gets a young, cost-controlled player that's very effective, and the Blackhawks get future assets that they desperately needed as they go into the rebuild process. So, yeah, would you love to have Hagel? You would, but he's not a player that you build around. He's a player you build with, and the Blackhawks right now are trying to get as many lottery tickets as they can to get the guys that you build around and then supplement it with guys you build with.
All right, let's get to the 4 stars of the game and let Mario go home. The 3 stars of the game in this one, number 3 star for Tampa, Brian Elliott made 25 saves on 26 shots against. That's pretty good. Brandon Hagel, your number 2 star of the night. Hagel had a goal, an assist. He was a +1. 3 shots on goal. That's 3 more than Jonathan Taves, and 2 more shot attempts. And your number 1 star of the game was Pat Maroon. He is a big dude. A goal, 12-15 of ice time, 3 shots on goal. He was fine. I didn't think he was that good. I didn't think he was number 1 star quality. But hey, I don't get to pick the 3 stars. So my 4 star of the game goes to the Post. The Post with 3 amazing saves in the second period to keep the Hawks in the game. So props to the Post for being my 4 star of the game, because, boy, the Post was all over the place, really making its presence known throughout for the Blackhawks.
Posty McPost face.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go with the aforementioned Caleb Jones in the 4-star role. Kind of didn't know he was going to play until a few minutes before the game, and then played on the wing. And he admitted during the first intermission break with Chris Fosters and Patrick Sharp, he hadn't played forward since he was 12 years old, which was like 6 weeks ago. But, that for him to do it, and he actually was effective.
He was right.
He had 2 shots on goal, 2 more than Jonathan Taves. Actually, I'm sorry, 1 shot on goal, 1 more than Jonathan Taves, but 3 total shot attempts, 2 hits, was in on the forecheck a couple of times, had 2 takeaways and a blocked shot. Not bad. He also had a giveaway that came out right after one of those blocked shots. There was a play towards the end of the first period. It was the complete Caleb Jones experience.
It really
they were
was.
Going back. I think they were on a power play, actually.
Yes, it was a shorthanded 2-on-1.
There was a shorthanded 2-on-1. He makes the correct play, dives, prevents the pass from going across, picks up the puck, goes right behind the net, and quickly gives it right back to the guy in a white sweater. That's the full Caleb Jones experience right there. But in all seriousness, put in a tough spot, and he played well. So Caleb gets the 4-star.
Yep.
He almost earned himself some Selkie votes on that play.
There you
Gets
go.
one from me if they give me one.
Yeah. Well, no, you can't. You can't be part of that club, Craig.
I'm okay with that.
My 4-star of the night was the man between the posts. It was Alex Stalock. Look, like he has been playing great this season. Just despite what some of these final scores are, they would be much worse without Alex Stalock. And you talk about the Caleb Jones experience. Tonight we had the Alex Stalock experience on full display. A lot of experiences in tonight's game, but he was a big reason that this game was tied going into the third period, especially through the second period. He did have some help from the post, of course, but he made some big saves and kept the Blackhawks alive. And look, like Taylor Radish has said it, Seth Jones has said it, like this team plays with a bit more confidence when Alex Stalock is in net, and they play a different way, and you can see it with the way that he's aggressive and likes to play the puck. Like I mentioned before, he brings a different element to the game as a goaltender, and it's just something that Peter Mrazek doesn't bring. So I think we've talked about it. Alex Stalock should be getting the majority of the starts for the rest of the time that he's a Blackhawk, and I think tonight was another example of why we believe that.
All right, Mario. Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
I do want to mention before I leave here. When I hopped on, I heard you guys talking about potential call-ups. Luke Richardson did say that he would talk with Kyle Davidson, but he believes that this is an opportunity where you may see 1 or 2 players come up from the Rockford Ice Hogs. Nice unison shrug there, guys. That was great.
chemistry, man. It's where it's
you
coming
might
together.
see you might see one or two players come up from the Ice Hogs, and although he didn't give us any kind of details or timeline for Patrick Kane, he did mention with an opportunity in the top 6, you could see a guy like Lucas Reichel fill that role. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We should get some information on Patrick Kane. We may also see some call-ups from Rockford because they're off until Saturday. Blackhawks' next game is here at home on Friday, so we'll see if any moves are made there.
Hey, no Patrick Kane in a tank game against the Coyotes. I'm not necessarily against that.
Hey, we have to be here anyway, so
Right, exactly.
There you go.
We'll see.
Lucas Reichel on the top line. Let's see what happens.
Let's go for it. We're in that territory of the season now. Like, just who cares? Do it.
All right, Mario. Thanks, man.
All right, safe travels, Mario.
All right, make sure you're following Mario on Twitter at Mario_Tirabassi and look for his 3 Hawks hits coming up momentarily after we wrap up the postgame here. We've got a lot to do and not a ton of time to do it. So I want to tell you about ComEd and saving energy. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, save money and energy. ComEd offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually, and they last about 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. Don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to comed.com/poweringbiz. That's comed.com/poweringbiz. Ready to sign up for a facility assessment? Call them at 855-433-2700 during normal business hours to speak with a ComEd Energy Efficiency Program representative. Email businessee@comed.com or request an assessment online at their website at comed.com/facility assessment.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully ComEd can save you a ton of money. So come springtime when you're ready to go golfing again, you can buy a few extra rounds on the links.
Yep.
And you could set yourself up by being the best looking golfer on the course. And that's with our friends at Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of CHGO. We love our Pins and Aces gear, and it gets you a ton of compliments on and off the course. Pins and Aces is a family-owned golf and apparel business that make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even the very cool, their favorite, beer sleeve. It's an innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep drinks cold the entire round. 7, one more than 6 last time I checked. I would use that for Diet Cokes, but that's just me. Check out pinsandaces.com and use the code CHGO to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com for all your golf apparel need.
All right. Oh, sorry. Are you done?
Sorry, yeah.
All right.
I had to ask there.
We've got 51 likes. Now, last show, we failed to hit the desired number, but as soon as we logged off, we hit it. So I feel bad.
Well, here's my thing with that. We have 75 votes on the poll and only 51 likes.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of clicks.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. All right? We're getting 2 because I felt a little bad because we actually did hit the number before we ended the show. If you want a third spin, we've got to go from 51 likes to 65. I know it's a big ask, but there's a lot of people here watching. There's a lot of people in the chat. So we get the 60, what did I say, 65? 65 Andrew Shaw likes, and we'll get a third spin at the Tankathon wheel.
We got 94 people in the chat right now. So
should be doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's update the tank standings first, give you guys some time to smash that like button, and then we'll get to the tank sim, and then we'll do, to wrap up the show, the king of the game. All right, there it is. The Blackhawks on top of the tank standings with 20 points in 37 games. They are 8 25-4. Holy crap, that's bad. Anaheim, 24 points in 38 games. They're 10-24-4. 24 points for Columbus as well. They're 11-23-2. San Jose and Arizona each with 31 points. So there's your top 5 in the tank standings.
Columbus got shut out by Anton freaking Forsberg tonight, in case you're wondering how that's going.
Oof. Best Forsberg in NHL history? Probably.
At least in goalies.
There you go. We're going to go to Tankathon now, and we're going to spin the wheel twice. We need 3 more likes for that third spin. So let's get there, folks. We got the top of the standings now. Hawks, Anaheim, Columbus, San Jose, Arizona. Let's give it a spin, Steven. Let's see what happens. Ugh, God, I hate
putting
this.
us in the third spot.
San Jose, Anaheim, Chicago, Columbus, and Arizona. Now, we say this most shows, but just to remind you, if the Hawks finish with the worst record, they can pick no lower than third. Okay, so if things remain the way they are now, the worst the Hawks can pick is third, which is a nightmare scenario. Because you want 1 for sure, 2 would be great, and 3 you'd really feel like you're left out. So, all right, let's give it one more spin here. Vancouver again lands the hometown boy, Connor Bedard. Columbus gets Fantilli, and the Hawks are left with whoever's left. All right, we need 1 more like. We're really going to sit there on 1 more like? All right.
I mean, if you include the one that I liked through this account, we are at 65.
I mean, I liked it on my 3 Gmail accounts too, so I shouldn't even count that. Those shouldn't even count.
Don't give away our secrets.
Whatever. I'm feeling generous. Let's do it, Steven. It was a tough loss.
All right, there it is. We got it.
All right.
65.
Way to go,
we
gang.
got it. Let's get us the third pick overall again.
Let's finish strong here. Oh, dear God.
You know what, Tankathon? I'm tired of you and your nonsense.
Philadelphia jumped 6 spots. See, that's my fear. It's going to be like Philly or St. Louis, something stupid. San Jose second and the Hawks third. We are 3 for 3 with the Hawks landing third. And the tank. I can't end that way. Do it one more time. I'm giving a free one.
Do it live.
We're doing it live. Do it. All right, fine. Second
All
we'll
right,
take.
That's better.
Columbus, Chicago,
That's
Edmonton,
better.
Anaheim, San
Edmonton.
Jose. Fine. Great. God, if Edmonton gets
Where the hell did Edmonton come
They jump
from?
up 10 spots.
They're not going to be in the lottery. They're going to make the
Screw that.
playoffs.
Yeah. All right, let's do our DraftKings King of the Game, shall we?
Oh, yeah. We got to do that.
The DraftKings King of the Game is Seth Jones. He had a goal, a power play goal, the first by a Blackhawk since May 1st, 2021. Remember, folks, it's currently 2023. It's been that long.
It's been a full season and a half.
Yes, May 1st, 2021 was the last Blackhawks power play goal by a defenseman. He also had 3 shots on goal, 26-22 of ice time for Seth Jones. Someone asked earlier in the show, is there any way the Blackhawks can get out from under Seth Jones' deal? The answer to that is basically no, because if they do, they're going to have to eat half the salary, and I don't think any Hawks fan wants the Hawks paying $4.5 million of Seth Jones' contract to him for him not to be here.
Yeah.
He's not perfect. In an ideal world, he's a 3, a really good 3, but
Hey,
because of the mistakes of the GM before this one, they're stuck with him. So you
In
might as well make the best of it and enjoy.
the second half of that contract, he might be a 3.
Yeah, you're right.
He might get forced down there, but yeah, it is what it is. We're just going to have to get used to Seth Jones here. No one's calling for that contract right now. But hey, maybe if he goes on like a 12-game goal streak here, maybe we'll get a phone call.
There you go.
Ottawa was kind of drunk earlier this year, sniffing around there, so you never know. As I have always said, never underestimate the stupidity of an NHL general manager. Never say never, but it's very unlikely that that contract is going to get moved ever, or especially soon. And at this point, we're going to have a topic on one of our shows real quick. You got to have some salary here because you got to get really creative just to get to the floor next year. Now is not the time to be worried about a 9.5 salary cap hit. Maybe they'll, and hopefully you won't have to really much during the duration of this contract, because hopefully you're going to start winning hockey games with guys on their entry-level contracts making less than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So it's not time to really, I know we're used to freaking out about salary caps. Those days are over.
Yeah, you're good.
Long gone.
We're going to get to that this week.
Yeah.
How we're going to get to the cap floor because it's going to take some doing. I will say, for the record, if some team wants to take Seth Jones from the Hawks and take his entire contract, bye.
You
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
that's not a slam on Seth Jones, but you get rid of that deal if you can. I just don't see it happening, but never say never.
Yeah. By the way, can you go back to Alan's comment about Tankathon? I think he's onto something. He says, pretty sure Tankathon's algorithm always puts the last place team at number 3 to keep people spinning and keep the ad machine churning. We're all suckers. That's a really good thought. Also, I bet you it can detect where your IP address is based, so it knows you're in Illinois, and it's not going to put the Hawks number 1 for 5 or 6 spins. Wow, I think Alan's on it. We got to get a VPN for the Tankathon spin.
Put it in Vancouver so we get the Hawks.
Yeah, there you go.
Or is there another site that does this? Does Cap Friendly do something like this?
I don't know.
Bet you they do. They do everything else.
Let's just do our own and just give it to the Hawks every night.
I'm for it.
All right, cool. All right, before we wrap up, before I tell you about DraftKings, a message to you and to our good friend Lawrence, our lead producer here. I know the Hawks have scored first 3 games in a row.
3 games in a row?
It's okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint. If you keep betting the Hawks to give up the first goal, you're going to win way more often than you lose. So never fear. Don't stray from the path. Stick with it, and you'll be okay. Hockey fans, light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers, get this. You can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. And if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Man, I am hurting on the parlays lately.
Yeah,
Lost another one today. I had Stamkos scoring, Lightning scoring first, and winning the first period. 0 for 3 on that one. Oof, that was rough. But hey, you know what? You bet $1 to win a lot. That's what makes those same-game parlays so fun. You combine multiple bets, and that's how you get those big payouts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. We are back tomorrow at 2:30. We've got a lot to get to. We probably won't get many updates on Patrick Kane or anything as they're completely off tomorrow. But we got a lot of good stuff to get to, including how the Hawks could possibly get to the cap floor next season, because it's going to be a challenge. By the way, SoCal Rest asks, he hopes the Hawks pick up Vrana on waivers. Source tells me the Hawks will not be making a waiver claim on Jacob Vrana. The contract is cost prohibitive to almost every NHL team. I also think there's a bit of a gentleman's agreement sometimes between GMs where someone will say, hey, we have to waive this guy. Please let him go through.
And you can't upset the greatest general manager ever lived, Steve Yzerman.
No, you can't. But I do think there is a bit of that gamesmanship to it where GMs know, like, hey, at some point you got to make a tough waiver decision, and you kind of hope that another GM isn't going to screw you over. But the Hawks are not, from what I understand, putting a claim in on Vrana.
Nobody's looking to pick up $5.25 million for the rest of this season and next year right now. It's just not happening.
Look, we can get to this tomorrow a little more. If they had done it, I'd have been cool with it, because why not? It's a guy who's shown he can finish and score a little bit, and it's just money when they've got nothing but cap space. But I'm also not I'm not mad about it either, because what's the point of making your team better right now?
Right. And he's 26. If you sign him and you keep him here, by the time they're good again, he's going to be 30, 31. It's one of those things where, like, okay, they didn't do it. Fine. Oh, they did it. Fine.
Cool. Right.
Before we go, I wanted to mention our buddy Jamie Pierce up in, I believe you're in BC, correct? British Columbia.
Yep.
There he is. You asked a question right before we went off the air. I think it was New Year's when you asked about the CHGO Blackhawks shirt and if we will ship them to British Columbia. We will. So go to chgolocker.com, order yourself one of those or the legendary shirt, and we will definitely get it up north of the border for you. So we do ship to Canada.
Yeah. And some people asking about a PHNX crossover on Friday.
Well, maybe we could do that for Thursday.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I saw that. That was in my notes here. We'll give our buddies Craig and Leah and Petey.
I wouldn't hate doing a post game with them either.
Yeah, let's see if we could do that.
Is that logistically possible, Steven? I don't know these things.
A dual
Yeah, if they're
postgame.
remote, StreamYard, we could do it.
Get them on one. It'd be my game, so I'd be calling in from the United States. Either that, or maybe we could do something Thursday.
Thursday sounds fun. Let's try to make that happen.
Yeah,
yeah.
We love, and could be some really fun stuff draft wise with our Coyotes crew too.
It's always
just a rumor.
It always makes you more happy to just bag on the Coyotes a little bit.
But see, that's why they call us mean on their chats.
Yeah. Well, we are.
It's your fault.
We do punch down a little bit, even though we are technically punching.
We're punching up
in
now,
the standings, but franchise wise. They've got. I just love their.
Stop tripping over your own dick every year, and maybe we won't make fun of you.
I just love that they're like, Austin Matthews is definitely going to sign here.
Sure he is.
Sure, yeah, okay. 501 points for Austin Matthews already. 7 years. He is the fastest player in NHL history to reach 500 points.
That's not right. I'm sure Gretzky did not take 7 years.
That's
to
what
get
I know,
500
but
points.
I saw that.
Maybe the fastest Maple Leaf.
Yeah, you got to be right. There's no way it took
Gretzky
that
had
long.
3 200-point seasons in his first
Yeah,
4
where did
years.
I see that? The internet lied to me. Hold on.
Yeah, that's
we're
not
not leaving
right.
till I get this right.
That's definitely not right.
Austin Matthews.
He might be the fastest
Fastest.
Maple Leaf to 500
Well, that's not
points.
saying anything. They suck. Okay, you're right. The fastest Maple Leaf. Fine. Whatever. He's still not going to Coyotes.
Way to hold a record for a loser franchise, loser. Until you're here in Chicago in 2 years. We love you.
Greatest Maple Leaf of all time? Can you call him that already?
No, he's not.
Who is?
Matt Sedin.
When it's all said and done.
It's all said and done, but he's going to be only there one more year,
That's
and he's
right.
going to play the next 8 years
Till him and
with either
Darter
the Coyotes
Hawks.
or the Blackhawks. Yeah.
Right.
He might be
All
the
right,
greatest
everyone's
Blackhawk
correcting
of all
me.
time.
Lebowski 5. Gretzky had 700 points in his first 3 years. You're right, but you spelled Gretzky wrong, so we're even. Bite me.
Fastest guy named Austin, spelled with an O.
Austin.
To 500 points.
Austin. And Lebowski 5 says Doug Gilmour, my favorite Maple Leaf of all time. It was him or Felix Potvin are my favorite
I'm a big
Leafs.
Matt Sedin fan. Sundin,
Sundin was good. The big Swede. All right, let's wrap it up because we can.
please.
All right. Thanks, Steven, for running the show. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us in the chat. Probably the biggest amount of likes we've had in some time. And
We got Alec Vlasic amount of likes right now. Alex Vlasic amount of likes, 72.
I love it. No one else wore 72 for the Hawks that I
Not
remember.
that I know of.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later, guys. Thanks for listening to the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30.